Welcome back. This is our third video from section 1.9, Conics section circles. We're going to be looking at writing equations this time. A couple things to keep in mind. You need this format in order to fill in the blanks, in order to create the equation that we're looking for. So if I take a peek, our first example gives you a center and a radius. That's our first type, the easiest type, nice and friendly. Fill in the blanks. Y minus -4 becomes plus 4, and we have a 4 squared. So one last little fine tuning. You do the math that you can. I'm not going to ask you to FOIL both of those out and simplify it. We're going to keep it simple. Round one done. Our next type, when we try to plug into that general formula, x minus -2, and then we have y minus 4 squared. Yuck, we don't have the radius. So think about that for a second. We have HK here because that's our center, but we also have an x and a y as our second point. That point's on the circle. So if I take x out with 2 and I take y out with -3, I get 4 squared. I've got -7 squared equals r squared. 16 plus 49 equals r squared. 65 is r squared. You can square root it if you want, but I'm going to keep it as r squared because that's what our formula needs anyway. Waste of time. So I come back up here and bring down that first equation part because it's got the left side all done. And all I have to do is put a 65. All right, now for the fun ones. Down here at the bottom, basically what's happening is you have 2 points, and they're on the circle. The key is they're the endpoints of the diameter, so our radius is in there. We don't know how long that distance is, but we can find it using some things like the distance formula. Fun stuff. x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. We're going to need that because we need to find our diameter first. So I'm going to take the points and let the formula do all the work. Slide that up a little bit. x2 is 4 minus -6, so it ends up adding. y2 is 8 minus the 4, and square that one. So 10 squared plus 4 squared. Square root of 116. So that's my diameter. So my radius would be square root of 116 cut in half. Not worried about simplifying the square root right now. We'll deal with it later. Not a big deal, and you'll see why also. So I'm going to need some more room now because I'm running out. I'm writing real big today. So next up, we need the center. You don't know that either. But remember, it's the midpoint of the diameter. So we'll need our midpoint formula, which looks like this. You find the average of the x's, and then you find the average of the y's, and that will give us our midpoint. So if I take -6 plus 4 over 2, those are your x's. 4 plus 8 over 2. Do the math, do the work. You get -1 over 6. So now we have our radius. We have our center. We're going to take our formula, x minus h, and y minus 6 squared. And that's supposed to equal our radius squared. Sorry for the messy 116. Fix that. So when I square the right side, I get 116 over 4, which does reduce to a nice 29. And I'm just going to be lazy and carry them down. And that wraps up our example. That's it for section 1.9. We'll call it a day. I think I might have called it 1.6 earlier. Section 1.9 circles, over and out.